Welcome to The Honest Media. Today is December 29th, 2016, and I am Tom Pappert here with Craig Chrysler. We're both coming out of our holiday slumber. We're sober, we're up, we're vertical, and what we're going to do today is we're going to start out by talking about some basic news, what's been going on this past week that we've all kind of been unplugged, and it's mostly good news, so that's always a nice thing. The second thing we're going to do is a continuation of last week's recap of everything that we've covered in 2016, everything that's gone on in 2016, and maybe some stuff that is just more about the election in general, which would be the last 18 months to 2 years, if you can believe that. So, Craig, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, all things considered.
All things considered. That's a good holiday, right?
Yes, it was.
Good holiday. So this is, I guess we could start. You know what one guy wanted for Christmas, right?
Yeah, I think I do.
This Pennsylvania professor at Drexel University, all he wanted for Christmas is white genocide.
Yeah.
I don't know how you fit that into the song, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, hold on.
White, all I want for Christmas is a dead white man. Hey, it works.
Yes.
So, and Reuters reported on this. It's not even the alternative media digging this stuff up. It's the mainstream
Now,
guys.
I barely looked into this. Is this a white guy calling for this?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And yes, there you go. George, you're going to laugh at the name. George Ciccarello Mayer, a white assistant professor of history and politics at the Philadelphia University, posted, "All I want for Christmas is white genocide" on Twitter on Christmas Eve.
Well, he can start out by taking himself out first.
Exactly, right? Start local.
Yeah, start local.
Think global, start local. That's it. That's one of these leftist sayings.
Delete himself.
And so he says he followed up on Sunday by tweeting, "To clarify, when the whites were massacred during the Haitian Revolution, that was a good thing indeed."
Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, the people that built civilization, just wipe them all out.
Yeah. Are we taking our cool stuff with us?
Yeah.
Air conditioner, modern architecture, we'll just take it all with us,
Let
right?
the Persians steamroll the world again.
Oh, there you go.
Bring back slavery and
I know Drexel, the college. Yeah, right. No, yeah. Let's get that out there. White folks, first people in the world, Europeans in the United States and in Europe, first people in the world to say, "Hey, slavery's bad. Get rid of slavery. We got to do it now."
Yeah.
We were defying our governments.
Mm-hmm.
We were going out in the dead of night and helping to free the slaves. We fought a civil war that was like one of the bloodiest wars that's ever been fought in history. And now white people get blamed because like we're the only people who have the slaves. Yeah. Never mind that there's people.
Western civilization ended slavery while the Muslim occupied areas.
Yes.
It still continues to this day.
Saudi Arabia, I know a guy.
And their slave trade was hundreds of times bigger than
well, and God, the things
West
they
ever,
would do.
yeah.
But remember, we got to kill white people.
Yeah.
White genocide.
Mm-hmm.
But you're absolutely there. I mean, nobody talks about the massive African slave trade that is still ongoing, but for many years involved the killing of black women, indiscriminate killing of black women, and the circumcision of, or not circumcision, the what do you call that even? Making black men into eunuchs. Castration, that's the word I'm looking for. I mean, this is a sick guy who would look at all the wonderful things in his society, who hates his own history, his own roots, his own family so much that he looks at all the evil that's done in the world. I'm sure Europeans, whites have done some bad stuff, but then he comes to this conclusion that genocide is okay. Like Rams.
What does this guy even teach?
History.
No, that's pathetic.
History.
The history of what? Because I mean, does he not know like the history of the past 3,000 years where everybody, if you're alive, one of your descendants was a slave. Well, guarantee it.
Let's not talk about the Irish slaves. I mean, my God, that went on. And the English slavery, English genocide. That's what we need to make amends for Irish slavery. Mm-hmm. But, coming from somebody with a little more recent experience in the college paradigm, this isn't that far out there. I've trapped professors into similar, I don't record this stuff, and I absolutely should be.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about Trump, for instance, they say, well, he generalizes these people and says these horrible things about these groups of people. And all you have to do is say, Well, you know, it is horrible that white people do X. And, oh, yeah, white people. White people. Well, there you go. You're just like what you're criticizing. You're the biggest hypocrite. And I'm sure this guy gets tripped into this kind of thing. But what's sad is most students don't do this. Most students don't think about this. Most students, I don't think, in the modern college system are smart enough to question professors like this. So when the professor says white genocide, they probably think, oh, that's so cool and edgy.
Yeah. Let's jump on board.
Yeah, let's do it. You know, I wonder if it was that easy for Hitler. So it's joking about genocide. What is the matter with these people? It's hilarious in a sad way. And I hope people who are watching this, if you've got college-age kids, you're not letting them just fall victim to this type of leftist propaganda. Because this is just one example. It happens everywhere, all across the country, every day, I guarantee you. So we'll transition into something that's actually cheerful. I told you we'd be talking about happy stuff. So then we talk about white genocide.
Yeah, that guy's just pathetic.
No, yeah, that is all you could say about it. Just a disgusting, pathetic individual. So U.S. consumer confidence jumps to highest level since 2001. That's from Bloomberg. People who you would think would be hesitant to report that.
Yeah.
And, you know, Trump said on, I think it was Christmas Day, or maybe it was yesterday, before he was elected, there was no hope. Everybody was despairing. And now that he's elected, everybody is hopeful. The consumer confidence is up. And it's true.
Well, he's made it clear that America is back open for business,
right,
which has been closed for business for a long time now. So,
well, no kidding. And he's already saving all of these jobs. I mean, can you imagine? Maybe you can imagine, as a blue-collar guy, you're seeing all your positions around you get closed out. You're seeing everybody go overseas. And then you finally got somebody, you know he didn't save 100% of the jobs, but he thought all of them were gone. So it's a pretty big deal that he saved any of them.
Well, not only is he saving them, there's tons of them coming back to the country.
Which brings us to, from Yahoo News.
And good jobs, high technology jobs.
No kidding, really good jobs. And we'll talk about this more in the next break. But from Buffalo, New York, the Japanese electronics company, I wonder if anybody's heard of this little brand, I don't know, Panasonic.
Oh, yeah, I think I heard of them.
Just once, maybe. And U.S. electric car maker Tesla said Tuesday they plan to bring production of solar cells at a factory in Buffalo, New York.
Imagine that.
And this is stuff, you know, this is a hilarious argument the left makes, and maybe you've seen it too, is they say two things that I feel are completely contradictory. One, Trump can't bring back jobs because they're all automated. And two, we have to have a $15 an hour minimum wage, and there will be no negative consequences, such as automation. People are totally just dumb, right?
Well, one of the consequences of a $15 minimum wage is a lot of people can't get hired.
There's that too. But you also look...
Because imagine all the jobs that don't deserve that, like
replace it with a robot. Like
hiring a kid at a store to sweep the shop for $7 an hour. But that job can't be had.
There's all those great memes out there, and we'll talk in a second about one of the people who that hurts the most, and it's blue-collar folk. But there's all these great memes out there of this is what a factory food worker looks like on a $15 minimum wage, and it's one of these self-serve McDonald's kiosks. But we'll be right back after the break. We need to take a quick break. We'll talk about how great the economy is already looking, and what the government, what the nefarious actors in the government or outside the government may be able to do to stop the glorious Trump economy. We'll be right back after the break. This is The Honest Media. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I'm still here with Craig Chrysler, and what we were talking about right as we left off is who the minimum wage hurts. And one group that people don't think about is the mentally disabled, who may not be able to do work that is worth $20 an hour or $15 an hour or whatever. You know, McDonald's, at least here in Wichita locally, they used to kind of be famous for, a lot of them, because you know they're all franchises, hiring the mentally disabled to do things like clean, serve, stuff like that. It gives them something to be proud of. They're a productive member of society.
Yeah.
But you just can't afford to pay somebody $15 an hour to clean a table. It doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah. Or, high school kids, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally prevent, so much of 2016, we'll get into this in the next segment or the one after this, so many of 2016 can be described in memes, and there's that great meme where I think it's actually a political cartoon, where it's a ladder, and there's a liberal and it says, "Congratulations, I've raised the minimum wage," and it's a high school kid like, "I can't reach the ladder," because he can't even get into the job market, and that's exactly what happens. But so we're talking about United States consumer confidence is up. We've got big names, Panasonic and Tesla, making their products in America again. Apple talking about coming back.
I can't even remember all the ones.
Well, Carrier obviously is a big one. You've got the Japanese bank that I can't think of the name of, who Trump met with, Masa, the guy in charge of it. Yeah. All these people saying they're going to invest billions of dollars and do all these jobs in the United States. But then we still have our friends at the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
That's something that I think everybody should be worried about.
Yeah.
Because, and this is just one guy's take on it, from Zero Hedge. Sorry, were you going
to? Go ahead.
But from Zero Hedge, Federal Reserve initiates endgame as Trump heads to White House. And you can go read this article. The Zero Hedge does these fantastic long articles. But the summary is this. We've been, and everybody who is a conservative knows this is true. We've been living in this fake economy with Obama for the last 8 years, with basically a money printer that won't stop, interest rates that are artificially low and have no business being that low ever in life. Like in Europe, they're doing negative interest rates. Who ever heard of this stuff? Yeah. And now that Trump is coming in, they're raising the interest rates and things. And so what they're going to do is create an artificial crash.
Yeah.
And we may not even feel it.
Well, they've been building a giant bubble for years. I mean, I can't remember all the stats now, but they've literally been printing, trillions of dollars for the past few years and had interest rates at 1% or even 0% there for a while, I think.
Oh, yeah, near zero. Zero.
Which you can only do that so long, and then, it's a big bubble they've been creating, and now that he's coming into office and the economy is going to skyrocket, they're going to raise interest rates and crash the whole thing.
Now, this is kind of because interest rates do need to be raised. Now, again, it's bad timing, but it's needed to happen for a better part of a decade. And this is coming from somebody who in the next 8 years is going to be buying a house, buying a new car. I would be very well served by low interest rates, but it's about what's best for society, not what's best for me. And if it were dictated by the free market, this zero interest rate would never happen. It's insane.
Well,
but the nice thing about it is they've been forcing regular people to get out. I mean, we can't be in the stock market, and unless you're working and you have a 401k and good retirements, which is like a third of all Americans, if that nowadays, most people can't be involved in all this stuff. Most people are just living paycheck to paycheck. So this is one theory that I have. Maybe the bubble will burst, and everybody, all the normal folks are just going to be sitting there. What changed? Whereas all the elites are going to be the ones who are up. I don't know. That's my hope.
Well, that really usually hurts all these people's 401ks and everything. That one in 2008, people lost half or 90% of their savings.
Right.
I think that's mostly back now, but we need to do a whole show about the Federal Reserve and what a criminal, illegal enterprise that actually is.
Well, and of course, we've done the argument that, okay, so here we go. I was exactly right. 66 million Americans have $0 saved for emergency expenses. Zero. 28% have 6 months worth of savings.
I got like a week's.
You got like a week's. I mean, I'm not much better. We have the excuse of being young, but the majority of this country is like baby boomer generation. These people should have had some time to get their affairs in order, and both thanks to poor decision making in the government, most of them don't.
Well, the funny thing is, I used to have quite a bit of money until 8 years of Obama.
I think a lot of people are in that position.
Yeah.
Honestly,
almost everybody I know was way better off.
Well, we're here broadcasting in a TV station that has almost totally been We've been around 10 years now. So we had a good 2 years. The first 2 years were probably our best years in operation. Then Obama came along and it's like, oh my God, nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody wants to do anything. Everybody wants to keep their head down and turtle in for like 8 years. And we're starting to come out of that. It's brilliant to see.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The Federal Reserve, I can just shake my head. If you want to see where inflation, because inflation's already taken place, if you want to see where, go to the grocery store. I think food prices have went up 500% in like the past 8 years. Well, and it might be more than that.
Look at food, look at gold. Let's find out, because I wonder...
well, now that the economy's doing good, gold and silver's down. That's how it works.
Right, which is kind of, well, it's because the money is going back up. And so, I mean, that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
But...
Unless you bought a ton of gold and silver Obama's president,
which
a lot of us did.
We're going to go to break and have one of these Ron Paul commercials, right? But unless you're Ron Paul, who's out there selling gold, and this is one thing, I love the guy, but this doom and gloom stuff, man, you got to get over it. We're in the glorious Trumpenreich now. It's going to be 40,000 years of good times.
Yeah, we get rid of the Federal Reserve and we're good.
Well, and he's talked about auditing it, which is how it's got to start. Because if you come out and say you're going to end it, you know, who do you have?
A private bank.
Well, licensed from the government, but it's like Bill Gates said, you know, he could be the next JFK. What did he mean by that?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I think it's time for a break. So we're gonna come back in just a minute, and when we do, there's something exciting. And I'm sorry to say that I'm reading from the New York Times, but I'm doing it so you don't have to. This is from the New York Times. An Oklahoma newspaper endorsed Clinton. It hasn't been forgiven. Good. It shouldn't be. It should be 8 years of no profits. Make it go out of business. Okay. We'll be right back after the break. I'm going to read a little bit of this article from the New York toilet paper. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappert here with Craig Chrysler. So, I just got to read a little bit of this. And I may accidentally say McMullen because all these names, what is it with cucks? They all have the same name almost. And they have these glasses. I got to go get a new prescription because I didn't know this when I got them. Okay. From the New York Times, Enid, Oklahoma. One Sunday after church, Jeff Mullen and his wife were in line at the Western Sizzlin' Steakhouse when a man, fists clenched, threatened to beat the hell out of him. This is how they describe us. Why does the New York Times think that they do real news? My first thought was to try to keep things calm. Otherwise, it was going to be two old guys rolling around on the floor of the steakhouse, and that would be pretty unseemly. We're called Mr. Mullen, 64, the mustachioed senior writer. And this is why it happened. For Enid's daily newspaper, the Enid News and Eagle. The dispute was not personal. It was, of all things, editorial.
Oh.
See, this is all part of how the media has to create this victim narrative. The poor media been bullied by the evil Trump supporters, right? I mean, that's what this is. Mr. Mullen's red newspaper in a red county in what is arguably the reddest of states went blue this campaign season and endorsed Hillary Clinton for president. The editorial board, in a gray shaded column on page A4 on October 9th, wrote that Donald J. Trump, and they're still not calling this guy president-elect. This is the New York Times. They wonder why they're in the toilet. They wonder why they just had to vacate 4 floors of their building and put them up for rent. They wonder, right? And what is it? Carlos Slim's blog, right? That's what we're reading here. Donald J. Trump lacked the skills, experience, and temperament to hold office. The headline and subhead read, "For U.S. President, Hillary Clinton is our choice for Commander-in-Chief." So I think what we're learning here is cucks don't understand. I was going to say liberals, but this guy says he's a conservative and a Republican or whatever. But they don't understand that actions have consequences.
That's a good way to put it.
I mean,
because they really don't.
They have no concept. Or they think that virtue signaling is still a thing in the current year.
Yeah.
And I think we finally killed virtue signaling,
Yeah, I think
because
so,
that's
too.
all this is look at how good I am. I think Trump's mean and I love Hillary. She's such a nice lady. I love Hillary so much. And therefore people are going to pat him on his little bald head and stroke his glasses and say, oh, you're so right. You're so smart.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way anymore.
Yeah. Oklahoma.
That's all you got to say.
Yeah, that's it.
But and they sit and they cry about this. This is what I love about conservatives now. We're learning the liberal tactics and we're not afraid to use them against him.
Yeah.
So let's keep going. The News and Eagle, with a circulation of 10,000, lost 162 subscribers who canceled the newspaper. You know, it's hard for the elderly to figure out what number to call, so it makes sense. I don't know who subscribes to newspapers anymore. It makes sense that there's only 162. But 11 advertisers pulled their ads, including a funeral home that had a sizable account. What did we just say about the elderly?
Yeah.
The only people reading the newspaper are the same who are going to be patronizing a funeral home, which is the largest account the newspaper had, right? You can't make this stuff up. Somebody stuck a Crooked Hillary bumper sticker on the glass door of the paper's downtown office. Oh no! A man left a late-night message on the publisher's voicemail expressing his hope that readers would deliver, to put it delicately, a burning stack of steaming excrement to the paper. So, I mean, God forbid we let people look at our Facebook page's message inbox and see the vulgarity people say to us, and we're virtually nobody, my God. But the New York Times makes this national news when it's conservatives allegedly being mean to a newspaper that was brave enough to talk against
just
Trump.
shows that's all they got.
Yeah.
They have no real info or no real dirt. They just got to cry about some guy from Oklahoma
who's getting called mean names
Yeah.
because in a red county, in a red state, in a red part of the country, he was stupid enough to endorse Clinton in his newspaper.
That's the worst thing happening.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, right? Where are all these hate crimes and Nazi parties that were supposed to happen?
Yeah, all the hate crimes that are carried out by non-whites claiming
like the
to
guy.
be whites. Yeah.
Have you heard about the guy at the church? I think we may have talked about this last episode. I'm not sure, but the guy in the church. Okay, so days before the election, I could pull it up, but I don't know what I would have to search. So take my word on it; it's out there. Days before the election, a southern black church was essentially bombed. Somebody started a fire, and they spray painted outside this church, "Vote Trump."
Yeah.
And the media said it was. They compared it to an act of terrorism. They said, obviously, probably by a Trump supporter. It was in the national news for a couple days. It was all over the place. Everybody had to talk about this church. Have you heard they found a suspect? African-American guy, member of the church's congregation, rabid anti-Trumper.
Yeah.
This is who did it, allegedly.
Well, all the people that are spray painting the swastikas, which they can't even get right, they're...
There's a word for them online. These hilariously misdrawn swastikas. I can't remember what they call spastikas. That's what they call the spastikas. Yeah. And then it turns out it's
if you're a real neo-Nazi, trust me, you know how to draw a swastika.
You would think so.
Yes.
You would certainly think so. I mean, I don't know a lot of them, but you would sure think so.
That's probably rule number one. Know your swastika.
And when they're teaching their kids the alphabet, A, B, C, D, swastika, it's just in there. It's one of the things you learn.
First, yeah.
Swastika 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean, you would certainly think that it would matter to these people.
Yeah.
And it's all media manipulation. And if it weren't for people like us, the Paul Joseph Watsons of the world, the Mike Cernoviches of the world, the Milo Yiannopoulos of the world, this would never get out, which makes this a little bit terrifying. And this was originally reported by wearechange.org. And I'm getting this from investmentwatchblog.com. Obama signs Christmas bill making alternative media illegal. Right?
What?
It's real. It's real though. Like this is the real effort. We're breaking the law right now.
I missed this.
It's new. It just came out. It happened Christmas Day, and then it's coming up today.
Surprising.
Because that's how they do those things. That's how they do these things. Absolutely. So this bill will criminalize fake news propaganda on the web. a key piece of legislation meant to crack down on free speech and independent media. In layman's terms, this act will allow the government to crack down with impunity against any media outlet it deems propaganda. So they're not going to be cracking down on the New York Times.
Yeah.
They probably will be cracking down on InfoWars, Breitbart, whatever Mike Cernovich comes up with, podcasters like Stefan Molyneux.
We only got 20 days, and hopefully...
that's what I keep thinking. Because you know that this is not going to fly.
Hopefully that's done in 20 days. Because what is this? That's literally George Orwell's 1984.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And what's the Ministry of Truth?
It's the Ministry of Truth,
And Facebook has its own Ministry of Truth that we've talked about on our website. Is Snopes. Snopes.
Yeah.
Snopes is going to be the arbiter of what is and is not fake news. Snopes, what is it? The Bernie Sanders fact-checking website, where it turns out it's owned by a relative of his, and the Washington Post editorial board.
Yeah.
These are the people who are going to be in charge of the Ministry of Truth for Facebook. So God knows, with how much these people work together, God knows that it's going to be like for the government.
Yeah,
probably
he's
going to have
trying
Jeff
everything
Bezos.
he can in his last few days. He's releasing all them terrorists from Gitmo. I think one of them's Bin Laden's brother. Seriously.
I don't doubt it for a second. I would be a bit more skeptical, because sometimes you get things wrong, and I sit here and Google them.
Something else, and I can't even think of what it is, but it's even worse than...
Well, he's going to do everything he can, because this is the thing about Obama, right? He's done so much. I've got a pen, and I've got a phone.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Trump has the same pen, more likely, and the same phone, definitely. So that whole legacy is going to be gone. If he doesn't do stuff like this, he's going to have no hope at maintaining a legacy. And with everything Trump's done, he's pretty much done the impossible routinely for a year and a half, 2 years now. I don't think this is going to stick. I'm not too worried about it.
I sure hope it doesn't, because wow.
Well, yeah, we wouldn't be much bigger than we are now. We wouldn't have the opportunity. But, and InfoWars would be one of the first to go. Breitbart would be one of the first to go. All right, his cell phone's making noise. We got to take a break. This is The Honest Media here in our alternative media studio. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Honest Media. So we've talked about the news, what's going on in the world, what you probably missed in your Christmas coma. And now we're going to spend the second half of this week's episode kind of talking about the fun, best parts of 2016. Last week with Dan Lyman, we talked about kind of the serious parts of 2016. I want to talk about what made it memorable for us. So I'll let you start. What is your favorite part of 2016?
Oh, well.
Of the current year?
Trump winning the presidency is
that's got to be the highlight, right?
That's the highlight, yeah. And watching all the libs cry and panic and have freakouts, that's a good one.
I loved seeing Nate Silver, the poll guy, right, on election night, when his eyes are bloodshot, he's got less hair than ever before, he's desperately trying to get the comb over to work, and he just looks like he's about to go cry his eyes out in the back room. That was really phenomenal.
Watching the exposure of how fake the mainstream media is, not fake, but just total liars with their BS polls, and that finally all getting exposed.
I think that's a big thing.
Yeah.
And not just the media, but this whole year has been a great opportunity to see who is being truthful, who is being honest, who is being upfront, and who is saying what they have to say to get a paycheck, right?
Yeah.
I think that is one of the most undervalued parts of the current year, because that is absolutely true. If you have somebody defending Clinton, you can just immediately say, and they're paid to be involved with news and stuff. They're supposed to know things. If they're defending Clinton, then you can just look at that person and say, oh, well, you don't actually care about the truth or journalism or the fate of the world. All you want to do is one of two things: virtue signal, and maybe it is two things: virtue signal or get your paycheck. Yeah.
And another good thing, the Clintons being exposed to a bigger population that, a lot of us knew how terrible they already were, but the WikiLeaks stuff and everything else, and now people all know about this, how bad they really are with the corruption and everything else.
I mean, they can never run again.
Yeah, they're done.
Like, assuming she has the physical stamina, Hillary could never run again. There's Democrats
she's
who
done
are
for.
saying we
Her-
should.
yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Well, there's the daughter. We might
That's
have
what
to
I was
worry
going to
about.
say.
Yeah.
But I think that the brand is so tarnished.
Yeah.
Because there's Democrats who say I think it was I want to say Lauren Southern, but I don't think that's right. Who she was at an event and everybody was commiserating. Maybe it was Bill Whittle, and everybody was saying, "Oh man, what are we going to do?" And somebody said, "Let's get Chelsea Clinton into politics so we can run her in a couple years."
Yeah, the Clinton brand's done, thankfully. Yeah. The Bush brand's done, thankfully.
Gone.
Yeah.
Like if a Bush shows his face again in the national political scene, I don't know what will happen. I'd be afraid to see it. My God.
Yeah. George Bush has basically been a ghost for 8 years.
Painting his
That's
sad
when he
dog
was drunk
photos.
dancing on stage with Obama. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I was watching some good old fashioned George Bush like screw up videos from back in the day. Like what is the good one? You know, there's an old saying in Arkansas. It's in Texas, but it's probably in Arkansas too. Fool me once, shame on me. You don't fool me twice.
Yeah, he
couldn't do it.
He couldn't figure it out.
But at least the guy was humorous. I think that was his saving grace. Is he was relatable. Whereas Jeb, my God, what is wrong with that guy? I think Jeb is one of my favorite parts of 2016 because he killed the Bushes.
Yeah.
He revealed how the party establishment, the conservatives, they manipulate everything. They try to pigeonhole us. They lied to us and told us, we can never win if we care about immigration. We can never win if we don't virtue signal to Hispanics. I'm so thankful for Jeb Bush because if it were not for that perfect face to destroy and push into the mud, I don't know. Cruz would not have been sufficient. Rubio would not have been sufficient.
Yeah.
So that's one of my, and that was mostly 2015, but that was one of my favorite parts of the year was Jeb Bush destroying mainstream conservatism.
Yeah, and Trump destroyed Bush.
Well, yeah, right, absolutely.
He was the first guy I went after because he was the big apple on the tree. Had to whack it right off.
With the $350 million from the donors, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, they would have come up with somebody else, but Bush was the perfect figurehead. Jeb. Please clap, low energy Jeb.
Yeah.
For those who don't know the meme, in the middle of a speech in front of one of his bigger audiences, probably 30 people, he just stopped in the middle of it and goes, please clap.
Yeah.
And he's trying to be like Trump would say, he's trying to be a tough guy, but it just came off as hilarious. I think people laughed at him. His own supporters laughed at him. And I can't be more thankful. What a perfect person. We had the two perfect people for Trump to destroy, Bush and Clinton.
Yeah.
Couldn't get better.
Yeah, they're gone. Other highlights of the year, Pepe the Frog.
He's gained mainstream acceptance.
And we can't forget Harambe.
No.
Harambe, rest in peace.
The dead gorilla, the dying meme. You can't forget Harambe. But Pepe, that is something. We took Pepe back. I don't know if you remember, but you used to have Instagram stars, Twitter celebrities who would take Pepe's. I mean, for those who don't know, it is a very niche thing. Like don't Google some of the more obscure Pepe's out there. You will be confused and a little bit disgusted. But it was taken over by these Twitter and Instagram celebrities who would say. That feel when you're trying to get more Instagram followers, and it would show Pepe like bending over with the posterior sticking out, and it just these disgusting things. Pepe is now where he belongs.
Yeah.
He's in the right. He's one of us. We're gonna protect him. The ADL can't touch him now.
Yeah.
Anti-Defamation League says a green frog, says a cartoon frog is a hate symbol.
Yeah.
I guess I'm thankful for the ADL too, for making memes weaponized, because now it's a hate symbol to post a meme on Facebook.
Well, the ADL just turned into a government tool to silence free speech.
Well, that's all it's ever been.
Yeah.
I mean, to be perfectly
well,
honest.
it used to. Well, probably yeah.
I don't think it ever had. You can go watch
back
Alex
in the
Jones on
'90s and
subject.
stuff. They used to actually go after skinhead groups and stuff, and now they just you're saying mean things.
Pepe's a hate symbol. They go from going after skinheads to Pepe's a hate symbol. And we got to take a break, and we'll come back and talk about more highlights. But that's another thing, is the social justice mentality. I don't think it's ever going to recover after this year. I really don't. And maybe I'm being optimistic. Maybe these things come in waves. I don't know. But I think we are killing these special snowflake losers off so bad.
Well, we took a big step on them, but there's still tons of little goose turds out there.
Well, you got to keep going. I like that. You got to keep going. But I think that this is the beginning of the end, and they're never going to have as much power if they did. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive.
As long as I think colleges with like the professor that we talked about earlier.
That's true.
Know,
but
that's where they all come
I think
from.
we're on the decline. I think we've reached peak social justice insanity. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes.
I think it's done. I think we saw that in 2016. Okay, we've got to take a break. We'll be right back. This is The Honest Media, talking about the highlights, the highs, the lows of 2016. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappard here with Craig Chrysler. We're talking about the highs and the lows of 2016. In last segment, we left off talking about, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, we've reached peak social justice mentality, and I don't know if it's a pendulum or how you want to think of it, how you want to visualize it, but I think that we're coming back down to sanity. And that's another thing. And a little bit of this was in 2015. I think the Mizzou stuff was in 2015. But I wouldn't say we're gaining control of the academia again. I don't think that's possible. However...
Yeah, not the professors anyway.
No. However, I think people are starting to realize college is not what it used to be.
Well, yeah.
And I think that happened. That's a big part of 2016 that nobody is really thinking about. But it's no secret that the left controlled our generations through college, through higher education.
Well, yeah, through all education, public schools.
Oh, absolutely.
Colleges, you know. It's the old adage, you get the children get the mom gets the dad.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I think that people, I don't know, at least in my personal life, I'm noticing a lot of less emphasis on, oh, he has a degree. Because so many people are starting to realize that all a degree means, it means two things. One is a good thing. You can sit through 4 years of going to class.
Yeah.
It means you can be dedicated to something. But the second thing is you've learned a bunch of nonsense. I mean, unless you're going to something like that you have to go to college for, like, you know, to get your CPA, to be an accountant.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, to be a medical doctor. I want those guys going to college.
I wish I could remember the name of this documentary, but it just shows what a scam college is. Like, you didn't need to have college to get into a lot of these jobs. What you did, you'd go to, you say, whatever, the CPA, you'd work there and study under them for couple years.
Well, sure,
but
then, there are some. I mean, I think that's coming back.
Yeah,
and that's part of the good.
So now you pay $200,000 to get a piece of paper that says, okay, now I can get this job, and then they're like, we're not hiring.
And there's studies that show that people are they get dumber after 4 years of college. You take the same test going in, going out. After 4 years of college, you're so clogged up with, it's a social construct, gender isn't real, all this stupidity.
And all the drugs and partying.
Right. Yeah. All the it's a waste
that's really the only reason to go to college is to party.
Unless you're going to go be a doctor or something like that. Or unless you just really think you need the piece of paper. But I think, like you're saying, people are realizing you don't need the piece of paper.
Yeah.
You can do virtually everything with that. I think
and
that
you
is
can learn everything for free. Well,
right,
whatever your internet bill is.
Right. Yeah. For whatever, we'll go to a public library, and you really can learn for free. I mean, no kidding. We are in a world, and so we may never defeat the leftists in the colleges. What we can do.
Well, there's a big one of my favorite parts of 2016, which a guy I didn't know about before, Milo Yiannopoulos.
There you go.
Who's been going to all these colleges.
Takes the fight to them.
Yeah. Taking the fight to him.
And he does exactly what we're talking about. You know, it's controlled by the leftist academia. So what does Yiannopoulos do? What does Milo do? He goes in and he offers a fun, hilarious, energetic, conservative argument. Yeah. And the kids, people a little younger than me most often, the people are eating it up. They want to see it.
Oh, yeah. They love it besides the SJWs who have total meltdowns. And
you know, but they're even going away. You know, there's that one video on his YouTube where there's one solitary protester.
Oh, no.
One protester. And Milo Yiannopoulos comes out of his dressing room and he goes and runs down and he talks to the guy and says, oh, you poor sweetheart, are you the only one out here. Oh, look at you. You're so brave. You're such a trooper. Okay, I'm going to leave you a bottle of water, and I want to give this to you. And the guy's like, I would prefer if you didn't talk to me right now. I don't want you to talk to me right now. And so he just leaves it at the guy's feet and walks away.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, you poor sweetheart.
Like all these fake news, which is the mainstream media, we're going to call them fake news now because they're the fake news.
You know, Dan was calling last week was calling them the legacy media, and I like that because then it's not the fake news, the real news, the alternative, the mainstream legacy.
Well, they were saying, you know, how Trump was so anti-gay and everything, and one of the biggest Trump supporters was a gay guy.
A gay guy, a gay Greek, Jew, British guy.
Also Catholic, I don't know.
Catholic.
I was going to say he's Catholic.
Got so many things in the air.
One week he's Catholic,
I think
one
he's ethnically Jewish, but his family is early. I think his dad wasn't around or something like that. So yeah, essentially a Catholic guy. There's some science, but yeah, that is absolutely. Milo's rise to stardom has to be one of the best parts of 2016.
And he's done more to destroy the SJWs than anybody, I think, because he's so brilliant, he can't be shut down.
Right.
I just like watching his clips, him debating people. I mean,
absolutely.
It's wonderful.
And all the memes that he's given us. We have Trigglypuff. Who is the 450-pound land whale. Get your hate speech off. I'm not doing it right, though, because she starts... Her body knew it was going to be exerting more than it had in a year. So, get your hate speech off this campus.
That was at his event, right?
That was at his event. And in a later podcast, he revealed he's horribly nearsighted and he didn't have his glasses on. So all he hears is this yelling from the crowd, and he didn't know until later that it was this 450-pound woman. He was screaming, "Get your hate speech off this campus!" But there's that. There are just all kinds of beautiful memes that have been given to us from Milo Yiannopoulos.
Watching him destroy feminism,
beautiful.
It's just wonderful.
And what about the women? I think this may have been in 2015, but the women who smeared there's conflicting reports after all this time, either pig's blood or red paint on themselves.
Yeah, I saw that.
And because somehow that's protesting. This is and all we do is we make memes out of it.
Yeah.
The leftists this degeneracy used to work for them. Now we laugh at them and make memes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the real underreported thing of 2016 is the memes.
They've been saying they're the one on the high horse for all these years, and we're all the dirtbags and deplorables. And when actions are shown, they're the scum and doing all this dirty stuff. And what are we doing? Nothing. Talking and making memes about them.
Having fun.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break, but I want to leave you with this Hillary Clinton quote before we go to break for our final segment. When they go low, we go high. We'll be right back. This is The Honest Media. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I'm here with Craig Crystal. We're talking about the most memorable parts, the most important parts of 2016, of the current year. And we do wish you a happy new year. We left off talking about Milo Yiannopoulos, who has been kind of a new star that's risen above all the others in his support of Trump, his ability to go to college campuses and make leftists cry and retreat to their safe spaces. One of the things, bringing up Milo made me think of this, one of the most undervalued, and we mentioned this a little bit a minute ago, but we know who our true allies are. Because there used to be this guy who also worked for Breitbart. Milo Yiannopoulos works for Breitbart. And if you Google Milo, he will come up, by the way. He's that good. But another guy who used to work for Breitbart is Ben Shapiro. Little Benji. It's about yay tall, you may, I don't know. And Ben Shapiro is one of the guys who was behind the Michelle Fields controversy last year, where Corey Lewandowski, Trump's campaign manager, this woman is getting all in Trump's business. He's trying to walk away from the event. He finally just grabs her by the arm and says, no. And he assaulted her. He threw her to the ground. He did all this stuff. Ben Shapiro loved Michelle Fields. The joke, the meme is that they're together somehow. And Shapiro left Breitbart over this controversy, hated Trump, never came around on Trump, hated Trump all the way to the, excuse me, now I'm making fun of you, all the way to the end. He's making fun of Trump. He's saying Trump is a horrible human being. There's never going to be a wall. He's never going to save any jobs. He's never going to do this. He's never going to do that. And Ben Shapiro, people used to look at him as somebody who was more famous, more credible, more intelligent than Milo Yiannopoulos. Now we know he's not our ally. He's not on our side. He's not going to look at facts, reason, and evidence. He's going to virtue signal to cucks.
Yeah.
And it's not the only one like that. We've learned a lot of people who we thought were our allies. Megyn Kelly used to be a respectable individual. Now we know Trump is like this beautiful light that shines the truth down onto all of these people. Whether they're really on your side, whether they're in it for fame, fortune, a good whatever.
She got exposed as just being in it for the money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And probably a giant closet liberal who was just on the conservative network because it's where she could get the good slot.
Well, supposedly she's going to CNN, so...
I keep hearing these rumors. CNN, some people say MSNBC. Nobody really knows. Then Fox, of course, says she's going to be at Fox for the long haul.
I never really liked her, and she got exposed for what she is. So.
Which I'm thrilled. Also, something I'm thankful, even though it's mainstream media news, it's cable news, which if you're watching this, you probably don't have access to. God bless you. Tucker Carlson.
Oh, yeah. Made his big comeback.
I love watching people get tucked.
Yeah.
It's good. He's good.
He's literally the only guy I watch on Fox News.
Him and Hannity are the only good ones. O'Reilly,
if I'm skipping through and I see Tucker on, though, I'll stick around and watch it.
He is good.
Yeah, he is.
Like the guy... Eichenwald or whatever his name is, the guy who had a meltdown live on air with Tucker Carlson. That is the type. And people say he's too mean. They say he's that. If you want to know why he's mean, go on YouTube and look at what was the guy's name? Jon Stewart did to him back in the day. The guy has a reason to be mean.
I don't even see him as being mean. He's just sticking with the truth.
That's true. He holds his guests to the fire.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, when I have guests, I don't do that because I want them to come back. But if I had the Fox News name behind me...
I love how he gets all these professors on. He's like, well, next week we're going to have another professor to see if he can do it.
And this is part of it. Maybe they don't think that they look dumb. This could be the leftist insanity that we've talked about. They might walk away from his show and think... Nailed it!
Yeah.
I got him good that time. Well, Tucker Carlson has no hope.
These college bubble towns where everybody's high as a kite, more than likely. And, you know,
they all think, well, if they're not high on something, they're drinking. Exactly.
They're drinking their own Kool-Aid. They don't live in reality. They really don't. Even like here in Lawrence, Kansas.
Even in Wichita, Kansas. We'll try walking on WSU, Wichita State University. Oh, my God.
Well, Lawrence is worse. They're a bunch of lib...
I mean, that's the stereotype is that's where all the potheads live.
Yeah.
That and Delano. But that's besides the point. We're going to get kicked off the air by the local people. Just WSU, though, they've created a new worship center for Muslims. They've got, like, all this disgusting... It's like you say, these leftists, and it's nationwide. It's a pandemic. They're all drinking their own Kool-Aid.
They're all pandering to the people that want to kill them.
Right.
It's like they're suicidal. I don't know what the good word would be.
Culturally suicidal. I've heard a lot of people say that because they have no love for the culture that has created this wonderful environment, these wonderful privileges for them to live in.
Yeah.
And I think that that's probably that has to be one of the best parts of 2016. That people like us, two regular guys, are having this conversation, and nobody's going to come attack us now. Like, if we were having this 2-3 years ago, oh my God.
Yeah.
The liberals would be picketing outside the station right now. Now there are so many of us who are speaking the truth, who are willing to talk about these difficult topics, that they would run out of people. You can't boycott everything. You can't protest everything.
We popped the PC bubble. The PC bubble's been popped, and now people are allowed to talk like real human beings instead of put in a little box of what you can say and can't say.
And that could be Trump. I think
Trump did it. He did.
The first debate, which was 2015, but we're seeing the effects. But it's like a ripple effect, right? The ripples get bigger as they go out. The very first debate, I should say. Megyn Kelly.
Yeah.
Mr. Trump, you said that all these bad things about women, you said they're this, you only Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
And that is a defining moment. You know, we mentioned we might just talk about the last year and a half, 2 years. That is the defining moment of this epoch, I think.
Yeah.
That you've got this guy. That would have killed any mainstream conservative. And Trump just said, no, I'm not going to be politically correct. We don't have time to be politically correct. We don't have the luxury of being politically correct. We have to talk. We have to be human beings.
Well, you know, one of the things, go back to Milo, I always said you got to change the, well, other people said it too, but you got to change the culture before you can change the country.
Absolutely.
Or
politics. Politics is
yeah.
downstream from culture,
Yeah.
is one of the writers of I think it's Andrew Breitbart who may have said that actually, and that is absolutely 100% the fact. And that, I think...
So we're finally changing the culture. That's probably the best part of 2016.
And that is what we were talking about a little bit. It's from Trump. It's from the memes, these hilarious that you can't escape from on the internet. It's from... Even though I'm not a big fan of the guy, we're starting to get pop culture guys like Baked Alaska out there in the world, who has got some questionable lifestyle choices, but that's fine.
Kanye West.
Kanye West meeting with Trump at the White House.
Yeah.
You've got Bryan Cranston saying he doesn't think Trump's a bad guy. I mean, we are seeing culture start to move over to something that looks a little bit more like reality.
Yeah. Instead of this weird matrix of BS that they've had us under for years.
This virtue signaling matrix. I think that is the death of the virtue signaling matrix. That's a good way to put 2016.
Yeah.
All right, well, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been about 6-7 solid months of broadcasting here at The Honest Media. We've yet to miss an episode. We've yet to miss an appointment with you, the viewers. Thank you so much for joining us. And have a Happy New Year. Craig, do you have anything to say?
Just have a Happy New Year. Be safe.
All right, we'll see you again next week in 2017, the new current year. Have a good Happy New Year.